I think when you look at a lot of those emergent behaviors, like being able to summarize and things, it really needs to understand that to get an accurate summary. So I think just generally, when you're asking it to do something, you're kind of relying on it to go through, understand sarcasm and, where that's going. Just looking at, how we use them as well and how we really we even use things like emojis when we're communicating on text channels. You can sort of understand, you say something sarcastic, smiley face, you're like, okay, person's joking. So that's, that's interesting.
This is really what ChatGPT, OpenAI's voice capabilities are doing. The demo that we saw a few weeks ago is just understanding all that inflection. And I'd be really interested to see how they actually trained it, because as you're talking about it now, obviously we understand it, we can see the demo and we can see how good it is, but how do you train a model with inflection? I would be really interested to see the actual data that they use to do that, because do they just feed it a lot of text and say these are like a million examples of someone being sarcastic? Sorry, not text, feed it audio lines, and just sort of understands, okay, well, this is what sarcasm is. And then you feed another million lines of someone being extremely happy and someone being extremely angry, and you just keep doing that. I don't know, but interesting to see what the methodology was.
Well, it is, I think, because it's obviously they started with base text models. I'll go into some of the ways that they've actually got around the problem, which I find quite interesting. Yeah. But obviously, as we get to the multimodal models, there at least is a way around that in terms of there are visual cues. If it's looking at someone speaking and, they would do something different there. So it obviously, we're saying, needs to be trained on those visual cues, on the inflection, that sort of thing. But a lot of the, just the nature of sarcasm, I think it's often delivered so unexpectedly. And that's what sort of makes it harder to pick up as well. So the text-based models have obviously gone down this road of almost mapping out how can we understand things like sarcasm. I've got 5 kind of points how they actually help understand that. And the first one is contextual analysis. So an example would be someone's going, oh, fantastic, another meeting at 6 a.m. But, you don't know, again, if it's like, looking at that text at face value, it's like, oh, great, this person loves early morning meetings. Like they're excited that there's another one. So it kind of has to go through the text and say, has someone actually referred to early morning meetings or not liking mornings or liking mornings to kind of get an understanding of, is that person being genuine or actually are they using sarcasm? And then the next one is sentiment analysis. So an example there is someone going like, I absolutely love getting stuck in traffic for hours. And it actually has to search there and go, wait a minute, there's a mismatch that's pointing to the sarcasm. So there's, I absolutely love, which is positive, but then getting stuck in traffic is a negative thing. So with that mismatch, it's likely sarcasm. And then the third one is training data, which is quite a funny one. So it can be an example like, great job on breaking the printer again. But it would be, you don't know that's necessarily a bad thing until you've read through, okay, breaking a printer is not a good thing. So in this lots of training data, it's like, yeah, the printer not working is a bad thing. So they're saying good thing, great job on doing a bad thing. So it has to be sarcastic. And the second last one is linguistic cues. So someone going like, oh, just wonderful, another rainy day. So it's kind of, again, looking at those cues like, all right, wonderful and just. No, that doesn't add up. Like just is, those two, it's obviously cues for sarcasm.
Yeah.
And then the last one would be cultural and social knowledge, where the example would be kind of like, oh, sure, because that's exactly how things work in real life. So, it's kind of knowing that people often use, oh, sure, to preface a sarcastic disagreement, and recognizing that statement like it means the opposite of what's being said, and then sort of indicating sarcasm. I found it interesting unpacking the small kind of clues to actually figure out what sarcasm would be and how it should detect it. And that's why this has been in the news recently as well, just as being something that a hurdle to kind of overcome with these large language models.
Yeah, so I mean, it can make a big difference, because if you're talking to one of these models and it gives you an answer, you're like, thanks, that really helped me, like really sarcastically. And if it goes, sure, my pleasure, let me know if there's anything else I can do for you, it immediately like pulls you out of the experience and you're just like, oh man, this thing is just not connecting with me.
Yeah.
But if it's like,
yeah, exactly.
Don't think that you are actually happy with that. Let me try something else, or what else can I try to help you with this? It goes a long way.
Yeah.